Hello everybody, it's Cheryl Cadzow back again with another doodle art tutorial. This time I decided to try something a little different. I bought these shapes and I think they're for scrapbooking. I actually bought them when I had to do a comic strip and I used them for the cells to do each drawing in. Anyway, they've been kicking around in my cupboards for a while and I pulled them out the other day and I thought I really should use these for something. Came up with the idea of using them to trace the shapes. So I randomly placed some shapes down, crossing them over, joining them up, trying not to make the crossover areas too small, and started to work on it. Wasn't really sure how to go about it, but decided to just jump in. And I sort of thought of a tennis ball shape, how they have those swirly lines, so I started off with that, which is with pencil, and then started to fill in the shapes. I always rely on some of my older work to pick out some patterns, so that sometimes I get stuck, sometimes I'm just full of lots of ideas. Also, as I usually do, I like to have some dark spaces and some light spaces. The dark spaces, which has got a lot more colouring in, balances it out really nicely. As you can see, I started working on the first little section and I just worked my way through it, and it's that easy. It's a lot of fun to have a boundary. I know some people do them without boundaries, but I seem to like to have a shape to work to. And this is so easy using these stencils, and that means I'm not wasting them, which makes my husband very happy. As you can see, I've just randomly filled them in. Sometimes I like to do small shapes and keep it spacious because it keeps it light. I think you put too much dark in there, it bogs it down. One of the little patterns that I enjoy putting into my work is the soap bubble pattern, which is what I call it. And it's the little circles with tiny little circles around it. And it reminds me of the soapy water with the little bubbles floating around it. It's a really enjoyable, relaxing pattern to put in, and I quite enjoy it. So often I'll have a break, flick through some books, have a look on YouTube, pick out another pattern, or have a look on my little booklet of samples that I've got, and I pick another one. And I usually try to have similar sorts, like circles or hearts or things like that, or sort of wormy shapes. Depends on what sort of mood I'm in. This oval shape that I've started working on, it reminded me of Easter eggs and Easter egg wrappers. It's something that possibly you could do for cards for Easter, or little labels if that's what you need. They're just really great, these shapes, to use. As you can see, I used a nice big texter so that I could see the bounding box, and I think it jumped out really nicely. I got a bit lazy with this oval. I just did a repeat pattern all the way through it, but I had seen it on something else and it was such a strong pattern that I really wanted to try it out. And it's very simple, you don't have to think. I don't know if you realise it, but most of the time when I do these doodles, they are really late at night, usually finishing at about 2 o'clock in the morning when my family have gone to bed and they leave me alone and I can just get on with it. I often have music that I like. Today I was listening to some lovely medieval music on YouTube. I love that kind of music, but you play whatever you like to play. You don't have to just do these little tiny patterns. It's just, for me, it's relaxing. I don't have to think too hard, and I enjoy the balance of filling in the spaces and thinking what to put in them. And even though I don't think consciously that hard about it, I do try to balance things out and not have the same sort of pattern right up against the other one. It's something that just is personal. It's something that pleases your eye. Okay, I hope this sounds a bit better. I've put a pop shield in front of my new microphone, and I think that seems to be working a lot better. Now this section, I often do this basket weave pattern, and a lot of the times I actually only put a dark pattern or black in between, but this time I decided that that would be too heavy, that I would just put similar patterns inside, and I've gone for little circle patterns. I have repeated some of the patterns in this one, and that was because it was getting quite late and I didn't want to try and think of too many more. Also, I think if I put too many dark patterns, because that picture is on the top, it might overweigh it, it might pull down. It's almost a visual balancing act, I find, and if I made that rectangle too dark, it would seem that it would fall over, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm just a little bit potty that way. Sometimes when I do this basket weave pattern, it is more about the trying to make the little lines three-dimensional, but this time I'm not worrying about it too much. And now I've realised that I haven't completed that first circle, so I want to just fill in some little patterns. These ones I'm just making up randomly now. I've seen something similar to this somewhere else and I thought I'll just put this in and keep extending it until I fill that space. As you can see, I'm getting past the halfway mark and I'm starting to try to think of what other shapes I can use in there. If you have any ideas of some shapes that you would like me to try or something else, just put in a comment below. I'd love to hear how you're going. If anybody has done any of my tutorials, I would love to see how you went with them. Scan them and email me a copy of it. I'd love to see what you've done. You can email me at pepiandfriends@gmail.com pepiandfriends@hotmail.com. That is just for sending JPEGs to you if you want them, and I can only send them to you if you send me your email. You don't have to put it publicly here. Just email me at that pepiandfriends and I will send it back. If you want to know why it's called Peppy and Friends, I did do a few little puppet shows on my other channel, and the main character was Peppy the parrot, and he had a little monkey friend and a dog friend, and it didn't do so well, so I didn't worry about it. But in anticipation, I started the Hotmail email address for it. So now I use it to send JPEGs out to my Doodle people. So I will not be trying to send anything other than JPEGs to you. You can comment to me if you would like. That's fine. We're getting down towards the end of it now, and I'm starting to do the lacy sort of patterns to fill in the small patches. I don't want to miss out on any spots. I do get a little bit lazy with some of the sections and just fill them in blankly, but it's alright because they're only small sections, so it shouldn't weigh it down too much, and I think it balances it. You need to have some little dark patches, otherwise it gets all wishy-washy, whereas this pulls your eye to that box and you see those dark parts, and then you start seeing all the other patterns. But that's just what I think anyway. If you enjoy my tutorial, please subscribe. I would love to hear some comments, and don't forget to thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching my work. I really enjoy doing it. I've got lots of new technology now. My new microphone is a Zoom H4n, and hopefully it sounds a lot better. It's very flexible and I find it easy to use. And now that I've put the pop filter in front of it, hopefully it's cutting out some of that burring that I was doing earlier. Enjoy doodle art and let me know how you go. Thank you.